evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jeremy Goeckner.
And I'm Brandon Davis.
And tonight we have a very special treat for you. Tonight we will be reviewing the AFI's new 10 Top 10 list that was revealed last Tuesday evening.
This list includes categories from animated films to westerns, gangsters, fantasies, and everything in between.
Which is why we have these nifty little sheets here to help us keep track. So without further ado, let's get right into it. You ready, Brandon?
I'm ready.
Alright, our first category is animated features, and they go as follows. At number 10, Finding Nemo. Number 9, the Walt Disney classic Cinderella. At number 8, the satirical Shrek. Number 7, Beauty and the Beast. Number 6 is Toy Story, Pixar's first movie. Number 5, another Disney classic, Fantasia. At number 4, 1994's The Lion King. Number 3, Bambi. Number 2, Pinocchio. And number 1, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So, Brandon, what do you think of the animated list?
I think it's a very nice, very thorough list. I would have liked Beauty and the Beast to have been a bit higher because I think that's sort of the pinnacle of what animation has reached.
Indeed,
in the last so years. I wouldn't put it at number 1. I think Snow White's right nice being number 1. But I do feel that there were a couple that were snubbed. I would have liked to have seen, I could have interchanged either Little Mermaid or Aladdin on that list. Because I think The Little Mermaid's the movie that brought animation back into the mainstream. And I think Aladdin's just brilliant storytelling. But I also wish they would have put they put a lot of the early classic animated films, but I wish they had put in something from the mid-period of like the 50s and 60s, like Jungle Book in there or something like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think the Beauty and the Beast should be a lot higher than number 7, personally. I mean, that was the first animated film to get nominated for a Best Picture Oscar. I mean, like, that's kind of dumb to say because they didn't have that kind of thing for Oscars back then, but like I think the Beauty and the Beast is such a good visceral story. I think I would definitely put it top 5. But yeah, Snow White's a very good number 1. I mean, it was the first animated film ever made. I really don't see Fantasia being that high. Like, Fantasia has never really been one of my favorite movies.
Well, you have to look at Fantasia is probably one of the most artistic animated movies ever made. I mean, they weren't trying to create a story; they were trying to paint a picture with music and the art of animation.
Yeah, and the Beethoven art thing. Like, if you watch it for that purpose alone, I think that's true.
It's never going to be a crowd-pleasing box office film, but as art, I think it's very high.
So, yeah, overall, I think it's a very good list. Though I love to see Shrek and Finding Nemo up there, the newer classics like that. Shrek especially, it's a really funny movie. But, oh no, I think that's a pretty good list.
All right, the next category we have is Western films. At number 10 is the Jane Fonda comedy Cat Ballou. At number 9, the John Wayne classic Stagecoach. Number 8, Warren Beatty's McCabe and Mrs. Miller. Number 7, the classic Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid with Newman and Redford. Number 6, The Wild Bunch. Number 5, another John Wayne, Red River. Number 4, Clint Eastwood, Unforgiven. Number 3, Shane. Number 2, High Noon. And number 1, John Wayne and the Searchers.
Well, this list is, I'm not a big Westerns guy. I don't know a lot about Westerns, but it seems like I've seen a lot of these, and I'm really disappointed by the fact that Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid is so far down at number 7. I really, like, that movie is just so thoroughly enjoyable all the way through. There's no weak parts in that movie, especially in '69 when, the Westerns were starting to phase themselves out. I really think that needs to be in the top 5 somewhere, but I love Shane that's up there, and I think the High Noon also. I haven't seen The Searchers yet, but I'm told it's very good. I think the one snub that I think really should have been on this list is Tombstone, the film from 1994 with a lot of amazing actors in it and a very unique visual style. It really brought something new to the Western.
Well, I would have at least, I would have swapped The Wild Bunch and Butch Cassidy at least. I would have at least put Butch Cassidy at number 6.
Yeah.
But I think The Searchers is a very appropriate number 1 because it's one of those beautifully shot westerns that tells a great story, and of course John Wayne is the ultimate western actor.
He is, yes.
But in terms of snubbing, there's a lot of great westerns out there, and there's a lot of westerns that, and in terms of me liking the classic films, I would have loved to have seen The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance on there with John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart. I would love to have seen How the West Was Won on there. And I would have loved to have seen, one of Jimmy Stewart's westerns, because they're often overlooked, but they're very artistically done. Something like The Far Country or The Naked Spur.
It's amazing. It seems like Jimmy Stewart's westerns, they are very, very good, but they don't really seem to get their due because I think it's Jimmy Stewart in a western type thing.
The movies were very successful when they came out.
Are, and it's more. You're used to seeing Jimmy Stewart in one of those really dramatic, really urban, settings, and it's kind of a little weird when he doesn't. But okay, so overall, I think. all right.
Good list.
Good list. Could be better. Okay. All right. So our next category is romantic comedies, and they fall as this. Number 10, Sleepless in Seattle, the Meg Ryan, Tom Hanks hit from '93. Number 9, The Unusual Harold and Maude. And number 8, the role that won Cher an Oscar in Moonstruck. Number 7, the great gem from the classic vault, Adam's Rib. At number 6, When Harry Met Sally, Rob Reiner's comedy classic. Number 5, The Philadelphia Story, starring Hepburn and Cary Grant and Jimmy Stewart. At number 4, Roman Holiday, the classic with Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck. At number 3, It Happened One Night, the Clark Gable, Claudette Colbert classic. At number 2, the Oscar-winning Annie Hall from director Woody Allen. And at number 1, the silent movie from Charlie Chaplin, City Lights. So Brandon, what do you think of the romantic comedy list?
This was, I think, the most interesting one of all. It has City Lights at number 1. I knew it was always a highly regarded movie because the last time the AFI made the 100 list last year, it came in at number 11.
Yeah, number 11.
But
very high ranking.
But and there's tons of great romantic comedies out there. But to put it at number 1, I think the AFI is really making a statement to people. I think they're really trying to say, hey, art is art. A good movie is a good movie in any form, whether it be silent or talking.
Yeah, and I mean, you and I haven't seen this. I don't think
I have seen bits and pieces of it. Never seen it all the way through.
And like, I didn't know anything about the storyline, but when I watched the special, they explained the storyline a little bit, and it seems like it's a very beautiful storyline about a blind woman and a poor little vagabond like Charlie Chaplin.
Charlie Chaplin is the ultimate physical comedian.
Yeah, and so like you don't typically tend to think of something like that, but it's a very bold move by the AFI to put that so high. Snubbing, I think there's one huge snub on this list, and I think it's The Princess Bride, the Rob Reiner classic. It's such a romantic movie, and it's got so much golden comedy in it. They mix it so well.
I have to say, I really like that they put Sleepless in Seattle on here.
Yeah, that's a good
one of the best.
movie.
When Harry Met Sally. I love that they put a Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn movie on there, Adam's Rib. I thought Harold and Maude was an unusual choice.
That is
because it is an unusual movie, but it's very highly regarded.
It is.
Moonstruck is up there. Roman Holiday is a great movie.
Great movie, yeah.
I was a little surprised Annie Hall was number 2. I thought it would have been in the
middle.
middle.
Yeah, some people like to do that.
Because Woody Allen, people have different tastes about Woody Allen.
Woody Allen's definitely an acquired taste.
In terms of the snubs, I would have liked to have seen a great screwball comedy. Most of the comedies on here are elegant comedies. I would love to have seen something like Bringing Up Baby or What's Up Doc on here.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I think my heart told me the one that I really would love to have seen on there was Arthur with Dudley Moore and Liza Minnelli. I think that's a great romantic comedy.
Yeah.
And it did rank on the AFI's comedy lists and on the love story list. But I kind of was hoping it would be on here. I didn't think it would quite make it.
It's very interesting that they did stray towards the more elegant romantic comedies. Maybe they kind of viewed Bringing Up Baby and Arthur and such as like, okay, these are more comedies than romantic comedies. But overall, I think it's a pretty good list. It definitely is the most unusual, though.
All right, our next one is Mystery. Number 10, The Unusual Suspects. Number 9, one of the first Hitchcocks on the list, Dial M for Murder. Number 8, The Incredibly Unusual Blue Velvet. Number 7, North by Northwest with Cary Grant. Number 6, Bogart's in The Maltese Falcon. Number 5, one of Orson Welles' classic performance in The Third Man. Number 4, the perennial mystery classic Laura. Number 3, one of Hitchcock's masterpieces, Rear Window. Number 2, Chinatown with Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway. And number 1, Vertigo. So what do you think, Jeremy?
Oh, this list is definitely, I think, the strongest list of all of them in terms of good quality movies here.
I don't think there's a loser in the bunch.
No, there isn't, and it's very hard to find something that gets snubbed. I was so happy that they put The Usual Suspects at number 10. It's such a good and well-made movie. It takes you, that's literally a movie where you're guessing for every single point of this movie. And it just totally goes where you don't expect it. Of course, Hitchcock has, what, four movies on this list, and he is the master of suspense. I think Vertigo is a very good choice. It's definitely Hitchcock's best. And as you said, Laura is a very good one. It's usually a low-regarded movie. It's not usually thought of as one of the best of all time, and I'm really glad to see it at number 4 there.